summer in Chatham just got a little more colorful. From now through August 14th, Chatham Art in the Park returns to beautiful Kate Gould Park, transforming the heart of town into an outdoor gallery filled with creativity, community, and coastal inspiration. Stroll through the park and discover a stunning collection of hand-painted whales and sharks, each uniquely designed by talented local artists. These larger-than-life works celebrate Cape Cod's artistic spirit while bringing residents and visitors together all summer long. Art in the Park is more than just an exhibit. It's a community tradition that connects art, education, and conservation. This year's event once again partners with the Center for Coastal Studies and the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy to share fascinating insights about the marine life that inspires these creations. As the season comes to a close, each whale and shark will be auctioned, with proceeds supporting both participating artists and local charitable initiatives. Whether you're an art lover, a Cape Cod visitor, or simply looking for a memorable summer experience, Chatham's Art in the Park invites you to explore, learn, and be inspired.
Sometimes the look of summer is about more than just beach blankets, ocean waves, and fireworks. Here on the Cape, though, the ocean will always be a factor. But sometimes it's about what's on it, in it, and around it that can attract the crowds. The landing here on Bartlett Ave in Chatham has all the classic Cape Cod elements that are neat for tourists and still enjoyable for even the locals.
This is one of the biggest draws for Chatham tourism, is this market and the surrounding Pier area. And it's quite unique for the Cape.
While the out-of-towners may show up to see the fishing boats or catch a glimpse of one of several seals patrolling these waters, the locals like to get here early for the fresh catch. Paul Deneen is Cape Cod born and raised, and 2026 will be his 5th season as GM here at the Chatham Pier Fish Market. For him, everything about the pier is part and parcel with living in Chatham.
I moved here like 15 years ago, and I just find it to be one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. And there's just, how can you hate it? It's ocean, seafood.
Judging by the number of traps being loaded onto the fishing boats here, it's no secret that lobster is one of the main outputs at the market. In fact, they've even got this very unique swimming hole of sorts where they store the lobsters.
The water's chilled down till about 40 degrees, and it keeps the lobsters nice and happy. We have oxygenated water coming through there, and no other place has that around here. And we have about, I think it's like 60,000 gallons of water pumped in here every day, fresh from the sea.
Of course, the movie for these lobsters doesn't have a very happy ending. But for the folks who line up outside the window for takeout, it's a very different story.
Our biggest draw is our lobster rolls, our buttered lobster rolls, or our traditional New England style lobster rolls, which is a little light mayo, cold lobster meat on a brioche with French fries. That's our biggest draw.
Well, as they say, when in Rome, or in my case, having never had a lobster roll before, there's a first time for everything.
I figured I'd be a darn fool if I tried leaving here without trying their famous lobster roll.
And a quick cutaway to other people eating lunch so no one has to see me with mayonnaise all over my face. Though it may only be a seasonal operation, the Chatham Pier Fish Market has been an institution here in town since the 1950s. The photo on the wall from 1938 of the store's original owner is a reminder of not just the nostalgia, but the legacy and tradition of this business, and the good feelings that it brings when it's open.
This place is just so special because when we open in the spring, people know that the winter's over. And after a harsh winter and they see that we're starting to get open, it's like the sign that things are gonna get better. And that's like, and we love that. And I love being a part of this community, serving them fish.
My name's Lisa Barstein, and I'm a TerraCorps member at the Dennis Conservation Land Trust. TerraCorps is an 11-month service program, and so I'm here at DCLT completing 3 projects over the course of that service program, and then I'm actually going to be staying full-time at DCLT once my term of service ends. So we're here at the Dennis Conservation Land Trust headquarters, also known as the Not Enough Acres Farm. So we got this property in July of 2023, and it's been really, really exciting to have all of this space where we can experiment with agriculture and also bring the community in to learn with us about different growing practices and what works well to grow here on Cape Cod. And so we're also trying to call this space our Environmental Studies Learning Center, and so we have a bunch of youth programs and educational programs that we're running. We're growing all sorts of things. We have a really great farm committee, which is a group of 10 volunteers who are all local to the area and have different areas of expertise and background when it comes to gardening and farming. And so each of those volunteers has taken on a small personal project at the farm, and that's why we like to call it our collaborative farm, because everyone's kind of bringing their own knowledge to the space. And so we're growing vegetables, we're growing native perennials, we have a cut flower plot, we're growing mushrooms, we're growing herbs. So it's been a lot of fun to learn and experiment with all those different types of vegetables and plants. We have 8 interns this summer. 4 of them are high school interns and 4 of them are college interns. Our high school interns are part of our science fair internship program. They're all from the DY high school nearby. And essentially what they do is come up with a project that's of interest to them, a question that they want to test. And we kind of help facilitate that process and provide them with any materials or resources they need to answer that question. One of the really great things about having this space here at our headquarters is a lot of our students can also experiment with different agricultural questions. And then our college interns are also helping us out on the farm, whether it's weeding, whether it's harvesting. And then some of them are also developing professional skills that they might need going forward after they graduate when it comes to the field of ecology. And so one of our students is sampling a field that we have next door to better understand what kind of plant species are growing there. We just have some really fun collaborations that we're really excited to continue going forward. So actually our front plot is being managed by the Brazilian Resource Center, which is also another local organization that provides all kinds of supports for immigrant communities here on the Cape. They've done a really great job. All of that produce is going to the Yarmouth food, or to their food pantry. All of our produce is going to the Yarmouth food pantry. Yeah, just a really exciting collaboration we have with food pantries and different nonprofits here on the Cape. You can always check out our website, and you can find our email and contact information there. You're also always welcome to come stop by at the farm. We're located on Tesuit Neck Road in East Dennis. We love to have people just stop by, knock on our door, and we're happy to give you a tour, let you know a little bit more about what we're doing.
There's a bend in the road on Route 6A in West Barnstable where drivers should watch their speed. Not only because it's kind of a dangerous corner, but it's also where they can find one of the few family-run farms here on Cape Cod. In 2024, John and Sarah Bartlett purchased the property, which had long been the home of Harvest Moon Farm, before they opened it for operation under a different name in 2025.
There's not a lot of available farmland on Cape Cod, so we looked at a couple of places, and this one, kind of piqued our interest, and we jumped and went for it.
Around these parts, folks may be just beginning to familiarize themselves with the name Bartlett, but on Nantucket, it's more than just a familiar name. It's a family with a farming history that dates back to 1843. Over on the island, the operation dabbles in everything from livestock to produce. But after running the financial end of things for several years over there, John Bartlett wanted to get back to his roots, pardon the pun, and go strictly fruits, flowers, and veggies here on the mainland.
You know, it was just time for Sarah and I to kind of transition out of Nantucket and kind of turn that over to the seventh generation. And this opportunity came up, and we thought it would be a good idea to do something here on Cape Cod that we feel there's a need for, and get myself out from behind the desk and more in the field again, because that's really what my passion is growing vegetables, not crunching numbers.
The Bartletts were fortunate to get a property that was move-in ready. And while this farm may be considered a smaller operation, the amount of land that they get to work with is ideal for what they're trying to accomplish here.
We're growing on about 5 acres. The farm itself is around 7, but you know, there's greenhouses and buildings and some wetlands or other woodlands that we're not growing on. So that's a decent amount. It's enough to keep us really busy, and so we're kind of happy with the size and the space that we have.
There's no shortage of produce coming up from the ground across the fields here. But of course, this is Cape Cod, which isn't always an agrarian paradise with its famously unpredictable weather. So having these greenhouses is pretty handy, especially for growing tomatoes.
Anyone who likes tomatoes will say there's no comparison between a supermarket tomato and one purchased at the local farm. The owners say that if they can get anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds of tomatoes per plant, that's a great yield. And these plants are just one more example of how they're bringing their Nantucket operation here to West Barnstable.
And that operation is all about delivering the farm fresh experience to the visitors. As for why produce tends to taste better when it's fresh from the farm, there's always the unscientific explanation.
The wine always tastes better at the vineyard, right? So it's part of the experience too. It's part of like going to a farm, seeing where the produce is produced, and knowing your neighbor, knowing your farmer. I think it's more of an experience. You know, it's more of a connection to your food.
John Bartlett will be the first to admit that he's not a kid anymore, although he still moves like someone who could run circles around some of the youngsters here on the farm. He also knows that the easier route may have been to stick with staying behind the scenes. But with farming in his blood, opening up shop here on the Cape just felt like the best choice that he could have made.
There's longer days, there's shorter days, there's warmer days, there's colder days. Some are wet, some are dry, but it's always different, you know. And that's one of the things I love about farming, and just being able to be outside. I feel like, you know, it keeps you moving, it keeps you young, and definitely, as you say, as we're aging out here, moving is important. So you know, it keeps me young that way, and you know, again, you know, when you like what you're doing, it's not really work.
Hello, and welcome to the Hyannis Fire Safety Minute. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is firefighter paramedic Henry Rex with the Hyannis Fire Department, and I'm here today to talk to you about summer fire safety. As the weather warms up, we spend more time outside. Fire pits and grills become a big part of summertime gatherings. They're a great way to enjoy time with family and friends, but they also come with real fire and burn risk if not used safely. For recreational fire pits, remember that the fire must remain small and manageable, no greater than 3 feet in diameter. Any fire larger than that is no longer considered a recreational fire. Fire pits should always be placed on a flat, non-combustible surface and located at least 25 feet away from structures or combustible materials. In addition, keep a 15-foot area around the fire pit clear of dry vegetation, leaves, furniture, or anything else that could ignite. Pay attention to overhead hazards as well, including tree branches and awnings. Never use gasoline or other flammable liquids to start or relight a fire. All fires must be constantly attended. Children and pets should stay a safe distance away from the fire area. It is also required to have a garden hose, fire extinguisher, or bucket of water readily available in case the fire needs to be quickly extinguished. Avoid using fire pits on especially windy days, as embers can travel quickly and ignite nearby grass, brush, or structures. When it comes to grilling, always grill outdoors and never inside a garage, porch, or enclosed area because of the dangers of fire and carbon monoxide buildup. Grills should be kept at least 10 feet away from the house, deck railing, siding, or other combustible materials. Before using your gas grill, check propane connections for leaks by applying soapy water to the hose and fittings. Bubbling can indicate a leak. Keep the grill clean to prevent grease fires and never leave a hot grill unattended. After grilling or using a fire pit, charcoal and ashes can stay hot for hours, so dispose of them safely in a metal container once fully cooled. Most importantly, avoid distractions while cooking or tending a fire. Many outdoor fires happen simply because someone stepped away just for 1 second. A few simple precautions can prevent injuries, property damage, and emergencies, helping everyone enjoy a safe summer. Thank you and stay safe.
I'm Mike. I'm the co-founder, I guess, of Sweet Izzy. My wife really created this and wanted to create something that was kind of uniquely special for her. Elizabeth was a holistic health coach, and growing up on Cape Cod, ice cream was always a big thing for her. As she got older, she developed sensitivities to dairy, gluten, soy, food dyes, and could no longer tolerate that. And so in 2019, I decided to leave a career, and I said, what are we gonna do? And she said, I really wanted to recreate a childhood experience of being on Cape Cod, going out to an ice cream shop, enjoying ice cream, and just having a special treat where she didn't have to think about what was in it. And so we started creating and messing around with something at home with a little KitchenAid mixer, freeze the thing the night before, take it out, spin it up, and ultimately we came up with this, and here we are now, almost 7 seasons later. And when we created this, I said to Elizabeth, you know, when we do this, we got to create it so it's really good for you, but also really good for me, who doesn't have any dietary restrictions. I don't have to or choose to eat a certain way. And so from that perspective, we were like, how do we create a space where it doesn't matter if you have sensitivities or if you choose to eat a certain way? You could just go to Sweet Izzy and enjoy a special treat and say, wow, this is just really good ice cream. Non-dairy frozen dessert if you're an attorney. Both Elizabeth and I grew up on Cape Cod in Harwich. It's a wonderfully special place for both of us. And as we got older, we just came to this conclusion that life was happening really quickly. how do we create a life that we want to design? And so we really wanted to create a place where we could have summers on Cape Cod, winters in Colorado. That's why we have another Sweet Izzy out there. Getting very close to trying to be able to pull that off, but it's pretty tricky having both businesses so far apart. I think the Cape, from a community perspective, is such a special place where community is essential. And it's awesome to see how many people come together. Harwich has been tremendous, but it's not just Harwich, it's the entire Cape. I mean, for us, what's so cool to see is we have folks from Falmouth, Sandwich, all the way out to Eastham, Truro, like everybody that has found out about Sweet Izzy, they either has to or choose to eat kind of without dairy, without soy. This has become such a fun place for them. So not just Harwich and just the entire Cape. It's been amazing, the love and support. And we launched in 2020, and a lot of people say, oh, that must have been really hard. And I always flip it around. I say, look, it's just like life. It's all about the lens we choose to look through. And for us, it was so magnificent to see how many people were supporting and coming out and saying, what is this new business? I mean, it was wonderful. So it was absolutely beautiful to start something in kind of an interesting time. And it's been such a blessing. It's awesome.
The weather from the spring of 2026 may have left a bit to be desired for just about everyone. But if there were ever a sign that sunny and warmer days were on their way, it would be the Gateway Sand Sculpture here at the Yarmouth Chamber of Commerce on the corner of Higgins Croll Road and Route 28. Since 2011, Fitzy Snowman Sculpting has exercised his artistic license, much to the delight of Cape residents and visitors, as a means of kicking off the summer season.
It's a really great thing that's been going on since 2011. People look forward to it. We do up to 30. This year we're doing 23 sculptures. And people go, they grab maps. After we're done, they just travel around and they look at all the sculptures. But they're at the sculptures, they're also patronizing those businesses too, kind of saying thanks, you know, for participating. So it's a great boost for the businesses. It's a great experience for the tourists that are coming in. And it's great for me because 5 million people come through this town every year. And so all those people are seeing my art. So it's like having a public gallery.
Of course, Sean Fitzpatrick doesn't work alone. His business partner Tracy is the detail-oriented half of this team, while Sean focuses on the creative end of things. And if they sound like a married couple with their back-and-forth chatter, there's good reason.
It'll be 39 years we're married in June, and working together, sometimes I have to remind him that I have an extra pillow, and I will use it if I have to. And I mean, we go back and forth. I mean, we get along fine, but that's like we bicker back and forth. Like, no, that doesn't look right. No, fix that. But we get along fine. We haven't killed each other yet.
Beyond the 39 years of marital bliss, these two have been enjoying sandbox playdates since they first met, all the way back when Tracy's family moved into Sean's neighborhood on the North Shore of Massachusetts.
I go down there, I see a little girl, she's like walking in the street, like in the middle of the street, and they're unloading all the stuff going to the house. Walk up to her, I'm 5 years old at the time. I reach over, I give her a little kiss on the cheek, and she starts bawling instantly, right? So I look out and I'm like, oh, what did I do, you know? All of a sudden, 5 of her older brothers come running out of the house. That was my first impression of that family to them. So didn't go over very well. I learned how to run pretty quick. That's how that worked out.
For roughly 10 months out of the year, this artistic duo will reside in homes and sleep in beds that don't belong to them, as they tour coast to coast, being commissioned to produce their incredible artwork for corporate and community events all over. They've been featured on national television and are recognized far and wide, not only for their work with sand, but also for their pumpkin carving and ice and snow sculpting. They've worked for several Fortune 500 brands, as well as many professional sports leagues. Yet, almost in spite of all of their accolades and achievements, they remain two of the most grounded people that anyone would want to meet.
We're out here with the people, and honestly, it's what we love most about this job is the people that we meet. We meet some great people, and it's like you can be having a down day, and like, oh, this is, you know, I'm not working the way I want, and someone will show up and be like, oh, you changed my day, you know, thank you so much for what you do, you make the town better, and it makes you feel better. So you don't know what kind of day they're having and how much effect you have on them just by making a sand sculpture.
For Sean Fitzpatrick, it probably feels like a lifetime ago that he was entrenched in his career as an auto mechanic, just tinkering with the idea of doing this type of thing after making a pretty impressive snow sculpture for his young daughter. Now, all these years and thousands of tons of sand later, could there be a potential retirement somewhere on the horizon?
I feel like I might take my last breath on a pile. You know, it brings me too much joy. It's stressful. It beats up the body. But when you're so passionate about something, it's almost like you don't have a choice. So no, retirement is never in my future.
Hey, I'm Kayla. I was an intern at Cape Media Center back in 2019, and that experience totally launched my career in media. And I'm Destiny. I was right there with Kayla in 2019, learning everything from camera work to editing and loving every second of it. The staff here at Cape Media Center were always hands-on and always willing to answer our questions, especially with our final project. We created a series of videos called the Blue Economy Project, where we dove deeper into how the ocean plays a vital role in Cape Cod's economy. The series was well approved, and we couldn't have done it without the Cape Media Center. Fast forward to now, I'm working in live music production and have even worked at venues such as Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park. And I actually came full circle. I'm back at the Cape Media Center, this time on staff. Cape Media Center gave us the tools, the confidence, and the real-world experience to chase our creative goals. It's more than just a media center, it's a launch pad for your future. Start your story at Cape Media Center in Dennisport. Cape Media Center, your voice, your vision, your community.